Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Building Three Pillars. I'm your host, John Waters. All right, so hope you guys had an awesome weekend. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. Hope you guys stayed safe. I also hope you were able to spend some quality time with family. I know it may have been a little difficult with all of the restrictions and all of us trying to, make sure we're keeping each other from catching the COVID. But I hope you still had a great time. I know that I certainly did. It was great to hang out and see family. If any of them are listening to this, it was great to see you. I want to give a huge shout out to my cousin who pretty much came through and made the whole thing an actual, you know, uh, fanfare. It was great. It was great to see you. Great to catch up. And if you're listening, I love you, and I hope you continue to do great things. All right. To the rest of you guys, I wish the same for you. I hope you guys had a great weekend, great week, and I hope you were actually able to relax and take a step back, and count your blessings. I hope none of us forgot to do that on Thanksgiving. I know it can be kind of hard with everything that's happening currently to actually see how blessed we currently are. There are people waking up in different parts of the world, no matter where you are, who have it worse than you do. So please keep that in mind. I mean, that shouldn't escape you even when Thanksgiving is past. All right. So today's topic is going to be a little bit more forward thinking. We're approaching the new year, and we all know what that means. For some of us, that means we're about to, level up and do great things. We're getting ready, laying the foundation to make those next great steps. And then for others of us, we're going to say we're going to do something and then kind of fall off the bandwagon. I'm hoping after you get done listening to this show, you avoid doing the lesser of the two. All right. Which leads us into today's topic. Less talk, more action. All right. So, as usual, I like to start these things off with a quote. And today's quote is going to come from a great mind, a great inventor, well before our time, Leonardo da Vinci. All right. He says, I have been impressed with the urgency of doing. Knowing is not enough. We must apply. Being willing is not enough. We must do. All right. That being said, my question to you all is what will it take to get you off the bench and onto the field? All right. So I thought this was pretty fitting. As I said, New Year's is coming. We're approaching the last month of the year, depending on how your calendar is set up. But yeah, a lot of people are about to start thinking about what it is they would like to do, what it is they would like to become, what kind of goals they would like to set up and hopefully achieve. But then we also know there's going to be some people who make all these plans and do all this big talk about how 2021 is going to be their year. As always, there's always the new year, new me crowd, and they're going to fall off. They're going to do more talking than they are actually executing the plan. Um, we all know someone like this. We all know the couch quarterback. The guy who you go to watch football with on Sunday. Well, who you used to go to watch football with on Sunday, who had all the great plays. He knew exactly what was going on. He could call the plays better than the coaches. We all know that guy or that gal. We also all know the backseat driver, who said, oh, man, you should have turned this. You should have blew your horn. Maybe you should have brake checked him. I would have. We all know that person. And we can't forget the green mushroom. I learned this term in the Marine Corps, actually. I don't know how many of you have ever, been the center of attention for 15 seconds, and you're telling a story about something you've done. And lo and behold, here comes, John Doe. And he's like, oh, you know what? That's nothing. I did this. I did that. Well, we call that person the green mushroom. No matter what you do, no matter what you've done, they're always going to one up you. But there's going to be times if you're actually able to catch them in action where they're not quite as great. Not saying it's always going to be the case, but most of the time people talk a good game that they can't really deliver, you know? And then on the flip side of that, or on the opposite end of the spectrum, excuse me, we have that brilliant friend of ours. I'm pretty sure if they're not your friend now, you've met them at some point in your life who's brilliant, who has all these great ideas, but they don't quite have the instinct or that cutthroat ability, or maybe just not the support they need to actually step out there and give their idea the opportunity to blossom and bloom and become something epic. We all know that person. All right. And so hopefully when you get done listening to this show today, if you were that person, you're less inclined to be them. All right. So let's go ahead and move on a little bit. What are some things that stop people from actually, taking that step forward? And the right opportunity. A lot of people want to wait for the right time, the right opportunity. I am not below this. So once upon a time, I was married, and I remember I went to my daughter's first checkup, actually when we were in North Carolina, and so We're talking to the doctor, and the doctor's like, "Oh yeah, your daughter's doing great. She's doing this. She's doing that. She's growing. She's healthy." And we're like, "Oh great." And then here came the hammer. So when are you guys having the next one? And I was like, no. Like I wasn't ready for the first one. I'm not trying to have the next one. Like it's gonna be some time. I need to have this ready. I need this to be in line. I had all these excuses as to why I could not do this, this thing right now. Now looking back in hindsight being 2020, I'm actually glad I didn't do it. But had things have been different, it would have been nice potentially, especially for my daughter to have grown up with someone else outside of just having her parents. So maybe I was being a little bit selfish in that particular time. But all I could see was all the things that I didn't have in line, all the things that wouldn't go right. I just didn't want to be caught up in a bad position, you know, and I'm sure I'm not alone thinking that. But leaning back into, planning for the future and deciding what it is we want to do and actually how we're going to take those next great steps to accomplish whatever that idea is. Um, One thing I've come to realize is you're never going to have all the pieces. Like no matter what it is you're planning to do, no matter what your dream is, you're never going to have everything perfectly aligned to make it happen. All right. And so a big part of making the decision to do something different with your life is just doing it. It's just realizing, I may only have, pieces A and B. And for right now, that has to be enough. I have to do what I can with what I have. I have to get more creative. I have to step out there and let it all hang out, so to speak, and just do what the thing does. And I guess I say all that to really say that if you're waiting for the perfect moment, you'll never move. You'll never move. If you never make the decision to actually act on whatever that idea is, you're never going to get anything accomplished. Um, let's go ahead and move on a little bit. Another thing that gets people kind of stuck or keeps them, in the same position is that they had fallen into the perfection trap. So what I mean by that is they need everything to be perfectly aligned. They can't do this until this happens. They can't, step out on their own because, they just got this new raise at work. And what will everyone think of them from walking away from this new position they just got? Or they can't, go out and start doing what it is they really love to do because, they don't know everything yet. And the person next door is doing it already and they've been doing it for years and they're better than them. We can come up with all these things that prevent us from actually, you know, putting all that worried energy that we're pushing out and taking some of that energy and transforming it into, energetic energy that can allow us to cultivate the mindset and belief systems that will allow us to be successful. So there's never going to be the perfect situation. I'm sure we've all seen sports, we've all participated in them at some point in time, or we've played video games. Uh, you've been competitive at some point in time. And when that happened, you had no idea exactly how the opposition was going to respond to what it is you were doing. I'm pretty sure at some point we've all lost because something happened that we couldn't predict. Someone made a move on the other team on the other side that was just one step quicker or one step ahead of what we were thinking, but the fact of the matter is you got out there and executed and you did what you had to do. There's no way you could have known that had you never gotten out there. Um, I say all that to say is that, it'll never be pretty. So personal trainer, you guys know this by now. There comes a time when you're in the gym and those reps start looking ugly. Like you're making the shrug face, you're making the freaking old man, old woman noises. You may even let out some gas, unexpectedly just to get that last rep done. It's not going to always be pretty, but the fact of the matter is if your goal is as important to you as you say it is, that step and that rep or that movement, whatever it is, has to be done. One of my favorite things to tell my clients is that it doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to be done. Now, granted, we're going to put in enough repetition work before we get to the heavier weight that your form is going to be great. But sometimes your knee's going to shift when you do that squat. Sometimes you're going to, unintentionally let your head come up before it should when you're trying to get that last rep in. There's going to be something that shifts out of place because you're tired, you're fatigued. Don't let those ideas, of the potential struggle stop you from going ahead and taking that next step and putting in the work anyways. Here recently, I participated in a Friendsgiving workout with another trainer, Kelly, and she introduced us to some new moves and some new techniques. I'm not above learning. I love learning. I feel that a personal trainer or anyone that's a coach in any field should always be looking for that next level up. Not saying that the person that you're learning from has to be better than you, but everyone knows something that you don't. Everyone has an idea or an experience that you can learn from. At least that's the way that I've been tuned in my mind to believe. And so, um, you can read all the books you want. You can watch all the YouTube videos and all those kind of things. But until you actually show up and you get that one-on-one experience with that coach or that other person, and then you get the movements down in person, in real life, in real time, you're never going to master it. You're never going to be able to say that you conquered that. So don't let the idea of, oh man, I can't do it because, I don't know what it's going to be like, or, I don't have the experience or anything like that. Don't let those things stop you. I mean, you're actually going to gain the experience from going through the experience. You have to get out there and actually do it. There will never be a perfect condition. There's always going to be something that could have been better, but the great thing about all of that is once you actually do it, you can fine tune those things. Once you actually get out there and you leave your job, it may suck at the beginning. You may hit some bad times, but it will get better. You'll learn from the experiences. You'll learn from the times you go out and you try to get, prospective clients to sign up for your program or to join you in your venture. You'll learn from the things you did wrong. Maybe you used the wrong words. Maybe you had the wrong, the wrong setup or the wrong business model. You can learn from that. You can fine tune that. Now, before I continue any further, I don't want to suggest the idea that you should just step out and do whatever. I don't want to say that. You should definitely do your homework. All right. You should definitely put yourself in the best position to win. However, I am saying you shouldn't take all day planning and thinking about it. So if you've listened to me for any amount of time, you know that one of the people I really look up to and, admire in the business world is Gary Vaynerchuk. And he mentions quite a few times how, when he talks to individuals, they always said they thought of Uber before Uber was a thing. They always had the idea before the idea was manifested from someone else. Don't let that be you. We all know Thomas Edison and the 10,000 failures. We all know, all these great inventors and all these great business people who failed before they got it right. They did not let the idea of being perfect stop them from getting out there and actually doing something. All right. All right. So I guess the last big thing for you guys would be to have faith. Have faith. Steve Jobs, one of the other people that I really like, one of the things he talked about is, having faith and just stepping out there and just trusting whatever it is you believe in to have that next thing ready for you. Just walking out there and just believing that it's going to happen. You can never know what's on the other side of the tunnel if you never begin to drive through it. There's so many cliche sayings that could be applied to what we're talking about right now, but that's because they're all valid. You just never know until you do it, And I know some people, they probably get stuck in their lives and stuck in this life cycle of it's just easier to do what I'm currently doing. It may be easier, but are you happy? When it's all said and done, will you be able to look back and say, I lived the life I wanted to? Again, referencing Gary Vaynerchuk, he often encourages people to visit nursing homes, to talk to their grandparents, to visit people who've actually lived life or failed to live life that way they actually wanted to, because there's a lesson there. And the lesson usually is that these people have more regret than they do happiness. Again, I think I slurred, so I'll say it again. They have more regret than they do happiness. There are a bunch of things they wish they could have gone back and redone. There are a bunch of things they wish they would have actually taken the opportunity to do that they didn't. I'm not exempt from this. So I was in the Marine Corps. We all know this. There was a point in time where I think I've told this story before. I was in security forces with the Marine Corps. All right. And so I had just, pretty much fell into my groove and I got really comfortable. I was a team leader. I was doing all these things that it came there and I had a bucket list. Like I want to be the man. That's what I've always told myself in every place I've ever been. I want to be whoever the big guy is, whoever the person in charge is. That's what I'm trying to do, And so in the military, that usually starts off by executing, being good at your spot, but then moving on to knowing the spot above you or two spots above you. And so that was my vision. So anyways, I was there in security forces and I pretty much just got in my role as a team leader. Well, I was also doing well enough to be noticed by another field in our area, and they were doing recruiting. And because of my scores and where I fell at, they decided that I should go try out for this. And it still pains me to tell this story now because um, I realized that I jipped myself potentially out of an experience and opportunity to potentially go on and do something bigger and better, But anyways, so I go here and I go through their recruitment process and things like that. And I won't lie to you guys, I intentionally failed. I intentionally did not put everything I could into that experience. Now, I went with a friend who was supposed to be doing the same thing as me, and somehow they had a change of heart and they ended up sticking to their own program and actually succeeding. I'm not throwing any shade. I'm happy for them. That was definitely the right move for them, and it opened up doors for them along the way in their career. But I, however, did not, give my all. And the only thing I left with was regret. Granted, I was able to maintain my position and, stay a team leader, but life shifted. I was also a knucklehead. And so I got in trouble and lost all of it anyways at one point in time. But I guess that's neither here nor there. But I mean, I just can't help but wonder now, like, what would life have been like had I taken the opportunity to, push myself a little harder and go a different road? Would I have been in the same frame of mind that allowed me to go out there and be a little bit more reckless? But those are things we don't know. Those are things I can't know. All I have is the regret from not actually pursuing the opportunity and therefore also fail to achieve and receive another experience. All right. But anyways, I say all that to say, have faith. Have faith in your journey. Have faith in your process. Have faith that when you step out there and you go to do whatever it is you truly want to do, that the next thing will come. That next step will come. But if you never get out there and you never give yourself the opportunity, you will never get there. If you never gamble, you can't win. Everybody wants to win the lottery, but not everybody's trying to play it. We all fantasize about what it will be like to hit the next $420 million lick from whatever your freaking local god dang thing is. We all have that. We all fantasize about what it would be like to be this and what it would be like to be that. But the fact of the matter is most of us aren't really doing anything to make that fantasy a reality. All right. I know that was kind of long-winded, but moving on, the big question that I often ask myself whenever I'm in a tough spot or I'm trying to make a decision as to what I should do next is how bad do you want it? How bad do you want that outcome? You know, Going into a new field or a new world, you're going to be at a disadvantage in some ways than people that have been there longer than you. They're going to have all the experiences already, at least their experiences. They're going to have been to all of the schools and done probably more research than you by the time you've met them. But there's nothing saying that you can't start. There's nothing saying that you can't bring that freshness. That's going to be the one thing that you can bring that they may not have. They may have been in the game so long that they're burnt out. And now you have the opportunity to catch up because you come in young and hungry. Or maybe not young, but you still come in hungry. No matter where you are in your life stage, no matter in your life cycle, you can always come in with that youthful hunger, that ambition. None of us are exempt from being able to create our own joy. Let that be with you. Let that be your motivation. No matter where you are, you can always choose to do something different. All right. But you just have to want it bad enough. So today's show went a little longer than I thought it would. I got a little bit more long winded than I was anticipating. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you for listening, especially if you've managed to listen this long. I'm not just this particular episode, but if you followed me for any amount of time, I appreciate you guys. I couldn't do it without you. I probably wouldn't do it without you, to be completely honest. But anyways, if you enjoy the content, if you enjoy the show and you want to know more about me, feel free to follow me on Instagram. Today I got a little bit more fancy with the production work. So I went ahead and put my actual IG on there as underscore 3P Fitness. If you guys want to follow the business page on Instagram, that's going to simply be at 3 Pillars MBS. All right. And if you want to follow me on Facebook personally, that's going to be my name, John Waters, with the tagline of Unlock Your Greatness. And also, we recently started working on merchandise. I say recently, but it's really been maybe a few months now. But I've just gotten to the point now where things are looking a little bit more official, and I would love to get some feedback from you guys. And if you like one of these fancy little cups we got here, that's actually on the website. All right, so that website is going to be 3pfitnessllc.com. All right. So again, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you guys so much. I appreciate the opportunity to have you hear me if you do. I appreciate your support. Again, don't be afraid to get out there and do what you really want to do. We really do only get one true shot at this. I know there's going to be people who say, yeah, we may only die once, but we wake up every day or whatever they're going to say. Yeah, but when you're actually done, you're done. You know, no matter how you want to chop it up, when it's over, it is over. The thing I want to leave with you and press on you the most is that don't let that opportunity or that time approach before you've actually had the opportunity to do what it is you really want to do. Even if it doesn't work, at least you can say you tried. And that may sound cheesy, but it's better to have tried and failed than to have never tried to wonder what if. All right, again, my name is John Waters with Three Pillars Fitness. Have a great day, have a great week. And as always, keep pushing, greatness awaits.